Well, hello and welcome. We are live from the Heartland tonight. We are in the most haunted hotel in the state of Missouri, allegedly. And we are in the city of Springfield. If you haven't been down to Springfield, Missouri, um, on the way in, it doesn't seem like it's much, but once you get here, it the downtown, which I sort of am in, is very, very nice and very, very just nice. So, Springfield, Missouri, nice to be here. And we're here again in the most haunted hotel in Springfield. Let me see if my sound's working. My sound is working. So good that that is the case. Now, it looks like I'm having maybe some Wi Fi difficulty, so I might have to drop off the video if we get to that place, but we'll see. We'll see. So, how is everybody doing tonight? I should have turned that light out behind me, but I don't think I'm going to worry about it. Yes, I am. I'm going to turn that light out behind me. Give me 1 second. There we go. That's a much better viewing experience with that light off there in the back. So it's very nice that all of you have decided to join me on Halloween. And I'm here in the most haunted hotel in Missouri, allegedly. And I'm actually the only one here. Chainsaw Cat says much better because the folks that run the place, they don't stay here all night. And the guy that's going to cook the breakfast and be the day guy, he's not coming in until the morning. So here we are in the most haunted hotel in Missouri all by myself. It's interesting. So this ought to be a good time. This ought to be a fun time. This ought to be an interesting time. Not creepy at all. We are on, if you want to go to YouTube, we are on the Exvangelical channel, and we are on the Flee the Watchtower channel. Flee the Watchtower, Exvangelical Hour. We're on those channels as well because what we have to talk about tonight does have some relevance to those channels as well. So we're here on those channels. We're also, of course, on our Rockfin channel, our go to, which is Rockfin. So we got some stuff to talk about tonight. We've got some unindoctrinating to do. And actually, I've been unindoctrinating for at least 20 years. I've been unindoctrinating. Oh, good. Because this says the name of the hotel, but it says it on my side, which is good because some people are crazy. Mm, a nice little bit of tea there. We'll talk about the hotel and we'll talk about the paranormal aspects of the hotel and just aspects of the paranormal, but we'll do that or tonight later. We'll do that tonight in the at the we're going to be back at 11:30 Central Time for the special paranormal type of talk. And I brought the rods, so we'll be here for that. But this is your regular live from the Heartland, and we are going to just have a regular deprogram here tonight. I think we'll be able to open the phone lines. And what I was saying was, I've been deprogramming for at least 25 years. Let's say at least 20. No, I've been deprogramming for 25 years. Who is that guy in the shadows behind me? I've been deprogramming for at least 25 years. I've been unindoctrinating for at least 25 years. And if you do, because this room is reputed to be the most haunted room, typically it's a lady in this room, but the room right over here, there's a rocking chair that rocks all the time. So if you do see someone, and it is possible that you could, it is possible that you could, and we have allowed the tribalists, the Kabbalists, and of course we're mincing our words a little bit because we are on YouTube, but we've allowed those people to redefine our gods and goddesses as spooks, and we've allowed their domination of this holiday. So we are not going to allow them to do that anymore. If you see something in the mirror, let me know. I mean, I don't know what that is in the mirror either. So that's kind of interesting. What is that in the mirror? There's not even a mirror back there, which is even more interesting. There's not a mirror back there. There's just I guess there is a mirror over there on that side. That's probably just a light. But yeah, this should be fun. This should be interesting. This should be interesting, folks. I'm enjoying it already, but I've been unindoctrinating for 25 years. I've been unindoctrinating for 25 years. And this deprogram that we're doing today caused me to unindoctrinate even more. And it's going to upset some of you, I think, but that's okay because that's kind of the business that I'm in, is upsetting people. We've got Nathan Cifuentes here. We've got Mind Over Magic here. We have Anti Cretan Truther here. We've got Nina here. Christy Daniels is with us. Bobby G is with us. Brandon Sullivan's with us. Ruby's with us. Ruby Tuesday. Okay, so Ruby's with us. And then we also have Sparkle Spider with us. That's good. Cruz Michael is here. Aaron Michael is here. Pablo is here. Pablo is here. Ace of Spades is here. Tracy Cooper Rider. Nice to see Tracy Cooper Rider here. Who else do we have? We've got Patricia is here with us. Wow, a lot of new faces. Matthew Garvin is here with us. Jason with the $20 tip. Thank you so much, Jason. I appreciate it. Michael Musgrave is here. Wow, I'm very, very happy. Ben Brandt is also here. And over on the YouTube sides, we've got Freedom Dagger, we've got Missing You, we've got Steve Borg Resistance, Super Galactic, Chainsaw Cat. Who else is over here from this side of the house? Diggs BTW7 and Christy Daniels. I think Chainsaw Cat already said. And yeah, here we are. But this actual deprogram has caused me to further unindoctrinate. And somewhere Cynthia's saying, "Oh no, what's coming now?" Well, it's yeah, it's a challenge because this is a real challenge to one of my basic belief systems, one of my basic beliefs, I guess. And well, guess what? We get to lay it aside. I'm going to turn off the rock fin, but then I can't see the rock fin comments. Should I turn off the YouTube? I can't turn off the YouTube. I don't have the YouTube on. Let's turn off the rock fin for a while, see if that helps my bandwidth. It didn't initially, but we will see. I've got Bible Hub up. I'm gonna need to keep Bible Hub up, and I've got my, I've got my Canva, which I'm gonna need, which is my deprogram. So I've got to keep that one up, folks. We're gonna do our best. You might have to just drop off my picture, my video at some point, but I think right now we're still doing okay. So right now we're gonna go ahead and go into our deprogram. And I'm telling you, man, it is a powerful, powerful one. And I mean to tell you, it's going to change your mind about some things, or at least give you some other things to think about. And of course, the question is, why is Jesus so damn feminine? You know he is, and it's not just this photo. There's so many representations out there. It's not a photo, of course, it's a painting. There's so many representations out there of Jesus as super uber duper feminine. And it always made me wonder, well, Jeff, it was the painters that painted him that way. Yeah, it was the painters that painted him that way. Why did they paint him that way? They're being paid by the church. They're being paid by kings that are being paid by the church. They have to paint. They can't just come out and say anything about Jesus, but they can use their medium to deliver veiled messages. And I think they might have. I think they might have. Check this out, cousins. Check this out. Somehow, we've always known it. It's been in the back of our minds. And tonight, we bring it to the front of our minds. Jesus is feminine. I'm going to go back here into StreamYard for a second, and I'm going to shut down my camera. I'm going to turn my camera off, stop camera. That way I will be saving there. That made a big difference. So we'll do that. We'll do that. The most haunted hotel and doesn't have, the greatest internet. So you don't need to see me. You know who I am. Somehow we've always known it. Jesus is feminine. And if we look at John chapter 10, verse number 30, it says, and I owe Colleen a lot of this. Colleen sent me a long email. I and the Father are one. I and the Father are one. Jesus said this. And of course, I have to address these people that say, well, you don't even believe the Bible, Jeff. Why do you use the Bible? Well, I use the Bible because you believe the Bible. And I use the Bible to show you that your Bible tells you things that should make you not even be Christian anymore. Your Bible tells you that Christianity is a fear and guilt, blood magic, tribal based mind control virus that has been slipped into you like a Trojan horse. I and the Father are one. Let's go to John 10:30. Let's go to John 10:30. It should still be showing that. Is it still showing that? If I go, I'm going to have to go back here and look for a second and see if it flips over to John 10:30, or do I have to actually change it physically? I think I've got to change it physically. So let me do that. I'll stop sharing this and then I'll go to share John chapter 10, verse 30. And we'll do it a little bit painstakingly, but you have to see this stuff because it is just amazing what we're going to show you. It is literally mind blowing, folks. Mind blowing. Okay, so we're going to go to John 10:30. Now we're on Genesis, and we'll be back here. We're going to go to John chapter 10, verse 30. And I want you to see what this says, because it says, I and the Father are one. And again, I come back to, you just read the Bible, and most of you don't even just read it. But if you read the Bible by looking at the original text as we do, then you're like, wow. Because look at this, John chapter 10, verse number 30. And it's interesting because you see the my there, how it's italicized. That doesn't mean that it is more important. That means that that's a word that the translators are actually admitting they added. So if we go to this, we'll see, come on, if we go to this, all right, we see I and Father are one. This word the is not supposed to be there, but are one. What does this mean? One. One means one. Interesting. One means we are alike, we are common. One means that we are one in opposed to many. I mean, it's actually saying they're one as opposed to many, right? And then it says they are one as opposed to a division of parts. So this Trinity thing that says Father, Son, and Holy Spirit doesn't line up with what the text says. The text says they are one as opposed to being a division into parts. So it really means they're one. They are one universal singularity. They are one. And the ramifications of that are pretty amazing. They're one. They're not a trinity. They are one, as in one entity. Now, what does that leave us with? I and the Father are one. Am I still showing this? I can't really tell. No, I'm not. This is a little bit difficult to do it this way, but we got to do it and we will get through it. Don't worry, because I got to go back and forth and share these things with you. And I got to make sure I'm sharing. And I am. Sharing is caring, ladies and gentlemen. Sharing is caring. You know that. One as opposed to many. One as opposed to divided into parts. And we also saw down there alone, one and the same. This is what the Greek word heis means. I and the Father are one as opposed to many. We are one as opposed to being divided into parts. We are one and the same. And then John 1 1 and 2, you should know these. In the beginning was the Word was with God, and the Word was God. The same was in the beginning with God. In the beginning. In the beginning. This unmistakably relates to Genesis chapter 1. Genesis chapter 1 is where the Elohim, we've always said the Elohim created us. Genesis 1 creation. The Elohim are in Genesis 1. The Elohim are male and female. Now, Yahweh, the Father, was obviously the male part of that. So if Jesus was there in the beginning, and Genesis 1 is the beginning, and God said, and the gods were male and female, Yahweh was obviously male. Who then was the female? Well, who was with Yahweh in the beginning? The Word was with God. The Word was God. The same was in the beginning with God. Wow. Now we've got some difficulties. Let's look at John 1 1 and 2 for just a minute because, wow, this is like, are you kidding me? Let's look at John 1 1 and 2 for a minute because this is like, are you kidding me? I'm actually ruining even some of your days today, but we got to look at it. John chapter 1, verses 1 and 2. John 1, and we'll go to King James, bless God. In the beginning was the Word. And it's interesting because we're going to go to this later. The word means logos. And wait till I give you the definition of logos. But in the beginning was the Word. Everybody knows that was Jesus, right? But he was there, right? He was the Word. He was existing. He was there. And he was there. What? He was there with God. He was in the local proximity. He was hanging out there with God. He was right there with God. Didn't say he was God. He was right there with God. But Jeff, it says he was God. I want you to watch how tricky they are. Watch this. With pros, right? He was with God. And then it says the word was God. Emai, existent. So he was right there in the very beginning with God. Right? It says it. He was there in the beginning with God. And by being with God, God is, as we've seen, male and female. So if it was Jesus and the Father is the male. Who's the female? Proverbs 8:22 says, "The Lord possessed me in the beginning of his way before his works of old." That means that I guess we got to show you what that means. The Lord possessed me in the beginning of his way before his works of old. Sorry, but I got to show it to you. I can't just leave it. I can't just say, "Oh, I'm just going to tell you what it is." It doesn't work that way here. I have to actually show you things. So I'll pull up Proverbs What was it, 8:22? Pull up Proverbs 8:22 and then I'll show it to you so you can see exactly what it's saying, because this is actually unindoctrinating us. This is actually changing our understanding what we think happened, of what we think happened. So let me go back here. It's Proverbs 8:22, and we're going to go ahead and switch over to that and show it to you. Boy, this is kind of a little bit laborious, isn't it? But wow, you got to learn this. 8:22. 8:22. The Lord possessed me in the beginning of his way before his works of old. What does this mean in plain English? The Lord created me. See, it means to acquire, to get. Now, that doesn't necessarily mean create, does it? It means to acquire, to get. Now we start a whole new thing. Because remember, so many times in the scriptures it says he went out to get a wife, he went out to acquire a wife. And this says at the beginning that the Lord acquired Jesus, much as many people in the Bible have acquired wives. Boy, this gets even more interesting. See what happens when you actually start reading the Bible? But he went out to get him. And it just befalls me. He didn't create you. That's not what the word means. It means to get, to acquire. It means to acquire, to get, to gain, to possess. It doesn't mean to create. So he didn't create him at the beginning. He acquired me as his first, as his chief course, his chief journey, his chief matter. He got me first before he started on his journey. Oh man, it sounds like Jesus is the wife before 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 he started doing his works, before he started making things. He acquired Jesus before he started making things. What in the hell does that mean? What in the hell does that mean? He acquired Jesus before he started making things. Well, we remember, oh man, this is just going to get so deep so quick. He acquired Jesus before he started making things. And the same was in the beginning with God. All things that were made by him, speaking of God, without him, Jesus wasn't anything made. Because remember, he possessed him first in the days of old before he did his works. Wow. Wow. And then we go to John 1:14. And the word, which is Jesus, was made flesh and dwelt among us. And we beheld his glory, the glory as of the one gotten by the Father. And then we read in 1 Corinthians 11:7, the woman is the glory of the man. If the woman is the glory of the man, and Jesus is the glory of the Father, and he went out and acquired him, and they were male and female in the beginning, and the Lord was obviously the male, who's the female? Maybe there's a reason why these painters present Jesus as so feminine. Because remember, Genesis 1:27, God created man in his own image. In the image of God created he him, male and female created he them. Oh, wait a minute. Him. Oh, wait a second. What do we do with this? Well, let's save that one for a minute. But remember, this is Elohim. Male and female created man in male and female's image. In the image of Elohim created he him. That's problematic. We have to look at him. Male and female created he them. So if it's male and female, create male and female. Makes sense. But who's the male? We know the male is Yahweh. Who's the female? Remember, Proverbs told us the Lord possessed me in the beginning of his way before his works of old. I was set up from everlasting, from the beginning, ever the earth was, before they started making stuff. When he started preparing the heavens, I was there. Who was there? Jesus was there. Then I was by him. I was with him. In the beginning, the word was with God. I was his delight. Wow. Afternoon delight. Oh boy. Gonna find my baby, gonna hold her tight, gonna have myself some afternoon delight. Ooh, skyrockets in flight, cousins. Wow. Wow. And this is the rest of it because I don't want to pull, things out. He who finds me finds life, says this thing that was possessed by Yahweh in the beginning. Whosoever finds me findeth life. John 14:6 says, nobody comes unto the Father but by him. What does John 14:6 actually say? I'm going to quote John 14:6 to you real quick. I don't want to take you through the whole rigmarole here. John 14:6. And we haven't even got to my problem yet. We haven't even got to my thing that stretched me. John 14:6 says, John 14:6 says, I'm the way, the truth, and the life. No man comes unto the Father but by me. No man comes to the Father but by me. Whosoever findeth life has to find it through Jesus to get the favor of the Lord. And Jesus is the glory of the Lord, and he was there in the beginning. And whoever sins against this personage in Proverbs wrongs his soul. All them that hate him love death. And John 3:16 says, for God so loved the world, gave his only begotten son, which is Jesus. Whosoever believe in him shouldn't perish, shouldn't love death, but have everlasting life. Find life. Because he finds Jesus. Are you following this? Genesis 1:26. Here comes my problem. Jesus is feminine. I think we proved it. Jesus is the man. It's so funny. They've got you believing in this Jesus. And Jesus was the first transsexual. He's really feminine, but he comes to earth as a dude that looks like a lady. It's even more ridiculous than we thought it was. But here comes the problem. Here comes the problem. In the image of God created he him. Male and female created he them. We got to look at this so I can show you my problem. Genesis 1:26. This caused a growth moment in me. And it's not a problem for me. When I see something in the word, I'm able to change and grow and move beyond it and accept it. I don't know how many of you have that mind, but let's see. Because watch this. And God said, God, remember? Elohim, God, goddess, and of course, goddesses indicate femininity, plural. Well, we know who the plural is. We know who the one God was, Yahweh. We know who the other God was, the fabuloso Jesus. Fabuloso Jesus was the feminine part. We proved it to you. God said, let Yahweh and Jesus fabuloso make man in our image, after our likeness, to rule over the blah, 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 blah. So watch this, though. Here's my problem. So in the beginning, God and Jesus fabuloso, they created man. They created him. Him. They created him. It's a crazy word. They created him. But watch where it gets even worse because and I got to show you this. Remember, look at this word. They created him. Where is it? Boop, 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 boop. I got to go back to 27. Here's the problem. Watch this. They created him. ETH. Male and female created them. Oh, well, Jeff, that means them. Problem is, same word. Same word. There is no them. There's just a him. It looks like from the text that Yahweh and Jesus Fabuloso, the femininity, created a being just like them. Androgyne. There's no them. See? Created him. Him. ETH. Same word. F. Created them. ETH. F. Same word. The Father and Jesus Fabuloso were an androgyne. Jesus is the feminine essence of God, of the Hebrew God, the Bible God, the Jewish God. We've seen it. And whoever and whatever they created in Genesis 1:27, which until today I thought, I guess yesterday I thought was us. This ain't us. How do I know it's not us? Because Jesus Fabuloso was involved in this creation, was he not? I'm not showing you this, am I? I am not showing you this. I gotta go back and show you this. Sorry. It's really not that easy to do what I'm doing here. So I'll show you right here. God created man in his own image. He created him. That's the word, ETH. And then male and female created them, ETH. So what he's saying is he created a male and female androgyne being at the beginning. We used to think this was us. They created us. Genesis 1, we're the Genesis 1s. I taught you that. It appears I was wrong. Because even me, after 41 years, I'm still looking for something in the Bible to be true. And here on Halloween night 2022, we find out that none of the Bible's true. There's no real truth in the Bible. None. Zero. Nada. It's just kosher disclosure. Even what we thought one of the very few things that was our creation by the great Elohim. We love the Elohim. Jeff, you love the Elohim. I know. I'm learning. I'm growing. But they created a male and female. That's a one thing. And it was Jesus Fabuloso, the girl part of God, and Yahweh, the Father man part of God, that made this androgyne thing. And just to make sure that you know that he really did it, let me show you this too, because we got to confirm, because great things. Dagger, it was exactly his pronouns, him and her. See, they started this nonsense way back then. They have been setting this table since back then. In the image of God created he him. Male and female created he them. Dude, way back in the day, feminine Jesus, his pronouns were him and them. Tell me again that they don't script prophecy. See, Dagger, I was ahead of you, but I forgot, so you got me back on track. Jesus was a girl. Jesus is a feminine girl entity, feminine essence of the Hebrew God. His pronouns are he, him, and them. You can't make this up. But how do we know that those created in Genesis 1:27 were of the limbs? Because John 1:11 says that Jesus Fabuloso came into his own. Jesus said himself, I have come to the Jew first. Genesis chapter 1:27, the creation of the Elohim. It ain't you and me. It's he, him, them. Jesus, the feminine essence, becoming a dude that looks like a lady. And they're showing you, because remember that dude, that last dude they had on that singing show? He looked like a dude, but he had a beard. Jesus, they are telling you. Oh my gosh. Oh my gods. This is brilliant. This might be the greatest realization I've ever brought to you. And after Jesus died, he became one with Yahweh again. John 17:5 says, I've glorified you on earth by accomplishing the work you gave me to do. And now, Father, glorify me in your presence with the glory I had with you before the world existed. And remember, Corinthians 11 tells us the glory of the man is the woman. Jesus is saying, give me the glory. I just want my glory back. Will you please give me my glory? I just want my glory. Jesus and Yahweh are one. They're the same. They're an androgyne. They're a male female androgyne. And Jesus is the fabuloso, the glory of Yahweh. Oh crap, you can't get around it. And let me just wrap this thing up for you. 2 Corinthians 11:2 says, and this is Paul talking to the church, talking to the Jews and those that are Jews but say they're not. In other words, the Christians of today. They are Jews but they say they're not. I'm jealous for you with a godly jealousy. For I promise you to one husband, to present you as a pure virgin to Christ. You got to look at this and look at this, what it says. What this is saying is, I want you to be a pure virgin just like Jesus. That's why he's making all the Christian men into girls. They're all girly. They won't debate you. Listen to Vos. He sounds like he's, you know what? Listen to Bros. He sounds like he is. They all sound gay AF because they aren't being made gay AF. Actually, they're being made gay as gay as Jesus. AJ, gay AJ, gay as Jesus. Now look at this, 2 Corinthians 11:2. Let me show you how nasty these bitches are. What is it? 2 Corinthians 11:2. Let me go ahead and go over here first. 2 Corinthians 11:2. This is like, I'm having so much fun. And I found out I was wrong, but damn, it's so good. 2 Corinthians 11:2. 2 Corinthians 11:2. 11. We'll go to King James. I hope I'm right. 2 Corinthians 11:2. Yes, I'm jealous over you with a godly jealousy. And don't you all love a God who's jealous? Dude, I don't even want a girl that's jealous. I've espoused you to one husband. The father again. Okay, let me go to the father's the dude. I've espoused you to one husband. I want you to be a chaste virgin just like Jesus was a chaste virgin. How many of you hear Jesus right now singing Madonna? Like a virgin, he, I'm touched for the very first time, like a virgin. Can't you see Jesus with your heartbeat next to mine? Oh, oh. Holy crap, ladies and gentlemen. And I'll prove it to you. Of course, I'll prove it to you. Watch this. You see how it's all blue? We can go up to interlinear. Boom. Interlinear. I am jealous as to you for God. I have betrothed you. You all want to be the bride. It's not the bride of Christ, it's the bride like Christ. You all want to be the bride, right? It's not the bride of Christ, it's the bride like Christ. I'm fixing to prove it to you. You are betrothed. You are to one a virgin. I'm a virgin. Why do you think they had Madonna sing that song? Because the Jewish God of the Bible is trying to make all of us pagans and heathens into virgins to present. It says too, but look, there's no word. It's just Christ. Because watch, Christo, the flow, the anointing, that's all there is. This is just thrown in by the translators. Look, it's not there. I am trying to get you effeminized so you can be to the Father a virgin, touched for the very first time, pure, to present just like Jesus was. What would Jesus do? Spread his legs and take it. They want you to take it. It's not to Christ. It's you're a virgin just like Christ. Oh shit, I didn't show you that. I got to show you. I'm sorry. Damn, this is hard. This is hard, especially when you're all excited like I am. Let me show you. I am jealous of God. I'm got God's jealousy because I'm the guy that was out there looking for acquiring a wife for Isaac. I've betrothed you. I've made you to be the bride. You're going to be the bride of Christ. Isn't it funny that dudes want to be the bride of Christ? They're telling you, dummies. Oh, I'm part of the bride of Christ. You're a dude. Yeah, but it's yeah. Oh, yeah, yeah. Uh huh. Okay. You've been betrothed to one husband. That's the Father. And I'm trying to make you a virgin so I can present you like Christ was presented. There's no two. They say two up there, but it's not there. There's no two. It's just you. You are being made into a androgyne chick for the Father to do what they do to girls on the honeymoon, just like they did to Jesus. You really want to be like Jesus? What would Jesus do? Take the big D. That's what Jesus would do. He'd take the big D. Somehow you've always known it. Jesus is feminine. And we're watching former great pagan heathen men and women also become feminine. I don't even want to go here to that. I'm about to show you that, prove to you that because he's a logos, he's a thought form. But we don't even want to go there. We just want to leave it right there. That is just like, are you kidding me? That is a amazing, stunning, deep deprogram. An amazing deprogram. And Dagger, he gets the flow because he's a woman. Wow, you nailed it, Dagger. Dagger actually nailed it. Can you imagine this, folks? We just showed you absolutely like, wow. I'm going to drop the mic and walk off the stage right now because it doesn't get any better than that. We'll be back at 11:30. We'll be back at 11:30 and we will have our paranormal Halloween night extravaganza. I hope that you can wrap your mind around this. Go call China on the big phone for a couple minutes and get yourself together by 11:30 because wow, this one was a mind blower. And being a blower and talking about what we talked about, it's not really comfortable to me. Whew. All right, folks. All right, folks. I'll see you at 11:30.